if you want to make your own synth keys in Serum and a music like this. It's very easy, just watch this video. Let's make this keys sound in Serum. It will be instructive. Because the keys textures are quite soft, we can use kind of more rounded waveforms, and we don't really need to get too complex. I used analog BD sine. This is really good for key sounds because you can warp it a little bit with the wave table position, so you can get some interesting nice harmonic textures. Try it, it's more interesting than boring sine wave. Set the amount of wavetable to the minimum. Then what we're going to do is actually use one of the warp modes. We're going to use the bend plus-minus warp mode. And this is really cool because it gives you just further control over the waveform. Let's set the first envelope. The keys sound is a pluck-like, so the sustain does actually drop quite a bit. So we're going to drop this to nearly 2 seconds and make this less of a linear curve. We're just going to add a little bit of attack to soften up the beginning of the sound, and also add a little bit of release. The next step is to set up the filter. I used MG Low Pass 18. And we're going to set the cutoff to just over halfway. Then I set the second envelope to modulate the cutoff just slightly. It shouldn't be too extreme, because then it becomes more of a pluck sound and less of a keys. The next thing I'm going to do is go into LFO1, set up LFO here to automatically control the fine-tuning of oscillator A. This is going to give us that really nice analog effect. This is an effective way to add a little bit of interesting movement to the sound. We have to increase its amount very little. If we increase it too much, the sound it gives us is not musical. Next thing I added is LFO number 2 to give kind of a tremolo effect. You can hear already that adds a really nice movement to the sound. The next thing I'm going to do is add a little bit of drive to the filter. It's just really cool. I also set up a macro to the cutoff and drive and wavetable position of the bend plus-minus. What we can do instead of automate in 3 parameters, we can add a macro to a bunch of different parameters. This feature is very useful. The next thing I'm going to do is dive into effects section. There is a few interesting things that depends on you and your projects. For distortion, I used envelope number 3 with really low sustained and a little bit of release, and I put this on the drive of the distortion. They'd be more distortion at the start of the sound, and then when the sound kind of decays a little bit, that goes away, and you just get the nice low pass to pure tone. And this is really cool trick just to add a little bit of interest or sharpness to the beginning of the sound. It's just a nice way to add a little bit of crunch to the beginning, while not dominating the whole sound. And finally, I adjust the velocity settings so that the sound of the notes reacts to the velocity. That's it. Now let's listen to a song I made with this voice. But first, if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, press the bell, and leave a comment below to tell me what you thought and what you want to see next.